Hi, my name is Lily, and I am the owner of Lily Smith Studio, which is based right here in Atlanta, Georgia. I make enamel and sterling silver jewelry as well as hand-bound sketchbooks and journals. You can see behind me is my veggie garden and my herb spiral. A lot of my work, both the jewelry and the books, are botanically themed, so I get a lot of inspiration from my garden. One of the actual benefits of the pandemic that's going on right now is that since I've been spending so much time at home, I've actually been able to spend a lot of time in the garden. So I think it's going to be my most prosperous veggie year yet. So that's been sort of a silver lining in all of this that's going on right now. So I'm originally from Easton, Maryland. I moved to Georgia in 2012 to attend graduate school. I was in the metalsmithing department at UGA for 3 years, and then in 2015 I moved to Atlanta and started my business. So you can currently shop my work online at lilysmithstudio.com, and then when all of this is over, you'll be able to see my work in person at Sproul Gallery, as well as the Beehive in Atlanta, Garage Door Studio in Avondale Estates, and the Funky Shack in Tyrone, Georgia. I also participate in the Grant Park Farmers Market, as well as new this year, the Oakhurst Farmers Market. So when all of this is over, I will be there once a month, and I also do a lot of the neighborhood and holiday festivals that'll be coming up towards the end of the year as well. So I'm going to show you around my studio a little bit, give you a sneak peek of that, and a little bit of the behind the scenes of how I make my books. Welcome to my home studio. I'm actually fortunate enough to have 2 studios. I have a larger space in East Point, kind of down by the airport, and that's where I do all my jewelry making. So I have my metal smithing supplies there, I have my acetylene torch, and that's where I'm able to do all of my enameling. So I have this nice little sunroom in my house, and this is where I do the bookmaking that I do. This is my bookmaking station with all of my tools, although during the pandemic it's been dual functioning because I've also been making, I've been sewing masks for healthcare providers. So this has been both a bookmaking and mask making station. So these are the books I make. I make them in 3 different sizes. The smallest one is just like a little flip book that's kind of great to just take notes or jot down little sketches. And then I make 2 larger sizes that open more traditionally in that fashion. All the books have 96 pages of sketchbook paper. So you can see at my work table, I actually have 2 tabletops set up, and I store the sketchbook paper in here. And that is what I use. I tear and fold it down to size to use for the text block in all of my books. And then the ones with the cloth covers, you'll see they're all hardcover. So I use this book board here, and then the cloth is a paper-backed linen book cloth that I use. So the 2 larger sizes of books that I make all have cloth covers, but then on the inside there's kind of a fun little surprise. I add this little decorative paper to the inside of the covers. And the decorative paper, some of it I get locally, but a lot of it I actually brought back from Japan. In Tokyo, there's this amazing store called Itoya, and here I have an example of paper that I brought back from there. It's like a 7 or 8 story tall building that's just all paper products. It's really amazing. And since all the books have 96 pages of sketchbook paper, I use an exposed binding so they lay nice and flat, so you're able to really use both sides of the page. And they're great for left-handed people too, because you don't have to worry about the big kind of ridge in the center of the book. So those I make in 3 different sizes. And then in terms of the jewelry I make, although we're not in my other studio today, all my jewelry is sterling silver. So the ear wires, the chains, anything that's going to touch the skin is going to be sterling silver. And then all of the enamel pieces are torch fired. So I use my acetylene torch to heat up. Enamel is powder glass. So I use my acetylene torch to heat it up. It fires between about 1200 to 1500 degrees, and the enamel just fuses to the copper. Any of the pieces that you might see on my website, that I call them my doodle earrings or necklaces, they have little drawings on them. Those are all hand drawn, and I fused the graphite to the glass. So those are all hand drawn and one of a kind. Thank you so much for watching and checking out my little home studio. I hope y'all are staying safe out there.